Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 9th August 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 7 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first topic. So first topic we are going to discuss it is about eutrophication. So this eutrophication is one of important topic which comes under GS paper 3 in our environment and ecology point of view. So yesterday many students asked me to discuss this topic, so I took this topic for discussion. So first let us try to understand what is this eutrophication. First, in normal layman terms, first we are going to discuss what is this eutrophication. So if you are taking any water body, here, so in this water body there is rich nutrients we are seeing. So whenever this water body which is having high nutrients, so there is enrichment of nutrients are seen in this water body, then what will be result? The result will be there will be increase in growth of plant life, right? So that will leads to algal bloom in short. So what is eutrophication? Eutrophication means you need to remember. So whenever there is increase in number of nutrients in so and so water body, that will leads to increase in growth of simple plant life. So what will be the indicator whether this water body which is containing high amount of nutrients or not? So we can see excess of plankton or we can see algae growth in that area. So if you say this is a water body and here we can see green color water or green color small plankton algae which is mainly grown on this water. So this is one of important indication of this eutrophication. So now let us try to see some important definition. How can we define this eutrophication? So this eutrophication, it is defined as inorganic nutrient enrichment of natural waters. So in this natural waters, we can say there is increase in nutrients or enrichment of nutrients. So because of this enrichment of nutrients, that led to increase in production of algae and microphytes. So increase in nutrients in water bodies, that is leading to increase in production of algae and also plankton and microphytes. So this condition is called as eutrophication. So what might be causes? So causes include increase in nitrogen as well as increase in phosphorus. So due to increase in nitrogen and as well as phosphorus, so that will leads to eutrophication. So which are the primary sources of this phosphorus? So primary sources include fertilizers, untreated sewage, detergents containing phosphorus, and industrial discharge of waste. So these are 4 important sources of this phosphorus. Okay, so because of fertilizers and untreated sewage, detergents using phosphorus, and industrial discharge of waste. So you can understand, so whenever there is any industrial waste that is discharged into nearby water bodies, yes, automatically if they are containing any phosphorus means that will lead to phosphorus enrichment. So how this fertilizers? So if there are any fields which are present here and here we have any water body, so means whenever there is increasing use of fertilizer that is seen, and because of some rainfall, so what happened, water will be discharged into this water body, that will also leads to increased concentration of phosphorus. And what happens to this huge biomass of algae? So as I said earlier, so whenever there is eutrophication is happening, so this water body, so we can see there is high algal growth, right? So excess of this algal growth we can see in this eutrophic water. So what happened? So after some time this algae, okay, so this algae will be dying. So this dead algae, finally it will sink to bottom. Okay, so whatever eutrophication happened, that led to increase in algal growth or algal bloom. So after some time, that is after some days, okay, so as you know that this algae which is having less time span, so it will be dying. So after dying, so this algae will come and it will settle bottom of this water body. So what happened? So on this dead organic matter here, so on this dead algae, so here bacteria will be acting. So bacteria will be acting on this dead algae here, and this bacteria will break down this dead algae. So mainly to act this, okay, mainly for the function of this bacteria to convert this dead algae into dead and decaying thing. So what happen, it will consumes oxygen. So bacteria will consumes oxygen mainly to convert this dead organic matter, right? So here what happened, because of this, here huge amount of oxygen which is consumed by this bacteria. So in that water body, that is leading to low oxygen conditions, that is called as hypoxic conditions. So in this hypoxic conditions, in this water body, if there is any organisms like prawns, like fishes, etc., then they will face this suffocation. They will not get enough oxygen, and finally that will leads to eventual death of larger life forms like frogs sometimes, and as well as we can see fishes will be there, and as well as prawns, etc. So that will lead to death of these larger life forms. So this is about what will be happening after this biomass. And next one is, if you're talking about effects of eutrophication, first one is, we can see there will be loss of fresh water. So fresh in this water bodies, whenever there is increase in nutrients, means that will lead to algal blooms, so that will lead to loss of fresh water. And we can also see new species invasion, and some algae which is mainly growing in that eutrophicated water, that are mainly releasing some toxins. And next one is, we can see hypoxic condition, that will leads to eventual death of higher life forms in that water body. And even whenever this algal bloom which is forming, that will restrict penetration of sunlight, resulting in the death of aquatic plants. So for example, if you are taking, this is a water body, and here we are having some aquatic plants are present. So what happens, whenever algal bloom which is happening, then it will mainly prevent penetration of sunlight into water. So because of this water, the aquatic plants which are present inside that water bodies, that will leads to death. And next one is, there is loss of coral reefs. Okay, so as we know that coral reefs, they need some important characteristics of water, but because of this algal bloom, that is leading to increase in turbidity, that is decreasing the transparency of water, so that will leads to loss of coral reefs. So these are some important impacts of this eutrophication, and this is one of important topic, and you can get mains question from this eutrophication. Okay, and I hope it is very much clear now. Now let us move on to next topic. Title says Covishield Covaxin mix gives better protection, says ICMR. So this article talking about Covishield Covaxin. So as you all know, in India we are having two vaccine candidates of this COVID-19. So those two vaccine candidates include, first one is Covishield and second one is Covaxin, right? So this Covaxin is indigenously designed and developed vaccine. So what happened, this study mainly says that, so rather than taking 2 doses of Covishield or 2 doses of Covaxin, so when we are taking cocktail of this Covishield and Covaxin, so it is giving better protection than individual doses. So this is a brief background. So this article will be important regarding health, which comes under GS paper 2. So now let us try to understand this topic. So if you see context, it mainly says that combination of Covishield and Covaxin, which is showing better immunogenicity than taking 2 doses of same vaccine. So ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research, which said that, so rather than taking 2 doses of Covishield or 2 doses of Covaxin, so if you are taking combination of Covishield and Covaxin, that is showing better immunogenicity. Okay, so this is according to study of ICMR. So now let us try to understand some important details. Okay, so ICMR mainly releases some recent findings that it suggests that immunization with a combination of adenovirus vector platform based vaccine, okay, so it is showing better immunogenicity. So immunization programs against this COVID-19 in India, which started with the 2 vaccines, they include AstraZeneca's Covishield, and next one is Bharat Biotech's this Covaxin. Okay, so whenever we are taking combination of these 2 vaccine, so immunogenicity is very much high. So if you see some key points of this study, it mainly says that, so this study conducted on 18 people who advertently received Covishield as first dose and Covaxin as second dose. So 18 people, they took Covishield as first dose and Covaxin as second dose, and in these people study conducted, and they compared safety and immune response generated in them with individuals who received 2 doses of the same vaccine. So finally this study found that neutralizing antibody response of this group, that is cocktail, people who took this cocktail, in these people this immunogenicity, that is antibody response, which is very much high compared to other groups. So now let us try to focus on some facts regarding this ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research. So this ICMR, it is an apex body in India. So it is mainly responsible for formulation, coordination, promotion of biomedical research. So for formulation, coordination and promotion of biomedical research, so this ICMR, it is an apex body in India. And if you're talking about mandate of this ICMR, so important mandate here, it is to conduct, to coordinate and to implement medical research for benefit of society, and also which is very much important for translating medical innovations to products and as well as processes, and also introducing them with public health system. So these are some important mandates of ICMR. And if you're talking about funding, funding of this ICMR, so if you're talking about this ICMR funded by mainly Government of India, so this funding mainly done through Department of Health and Research. So this Department of Health and Research, that will comes under obviously Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So these are some important facts that you need to remember regarding this topic. And now let us move on to the next topic. Title says human rights at risk in police stations. So this article mainly talking about human rights. So this article will be important regarding polity point of view, which mainly comes under GS paper 2. So now we are going to see why it is in use and some important details which are given in this topic. And we are also going to see what are the constitutional provisions regarding these human rights and also statutory provisions, especially in India. So that point will be important from your mains point of view. So now let us try to see context first. So if you see context, it says that our CJI Chief Justice of India said police stations poses highest threat to human rights and dignity. So police stations are posing highest threat to human rights and dignity, and there is also threat to human rights and bodily integrity. So there is threat of human rights and bodily integrity from police stations, because in police stations they are going for custodial tortures. So in custody they are going for third degree treatment, so and so. So because of this, that is leading to custodial torture. And police atrocities, they are still prevalent or prevail, and also we are having even some constitutional guarantees. But even though we are having these constitutional guarantees in police stations, there are increase in number of custodial deaths, custodial torture, and also as police atrocities, they are very much prevalent. So this is context. And if you see some details, it mainly says that, so why there is increasing of this custodial torture and as well as we can say police atrocities. So there is lack of effective legal representations at police stations. So that has a huge detriment to arrested or detained persons. So if you see in the first few hours of arrest or detention, so they often decide the fate of case for accused. So CJI mainly speaking at release of National Legal Service Authority, Legal Service App and Vision Statement, he said that yes, in police stations there is mainly threat to human rights and as well as even bodily integrity. So this is a statement which is given by our CJI, Chief Justice of India. So what can be done here? So because of increasing of custodial torture and custodial death, that led to erosion. That led to erosion of people's trust on police. So here what can be done? So judiciary want to gain the trust of poor and as well as vulnerable, and judiciary said that we need to ensure trust. We need to ensure trust of poor and vulnerable and marginalized. So this is a thing that we need to ensure to public. So judiciary need to garner the faith of the citizens, and judiciary need to assure to make everyone feel assured. Okay, so now let us try to move on to some facts and let us try to understand what are these human rights actually. So these human rights, so these are the rights which are inherited to all human beings regardless to race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion and other status. So if you're talking about human rights, they are inherent to all human beings, and that is mainly regardless of to which race you belong, to which sex you belong, to ethnicity you belong, and to which nationality you belong, languages, religion, etc. And this human rights mainly includes right to life and liberty, which we see on our fundamental rights, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, right to work and education. So some of these are present in our fundamental rights also. So now let us move on to what are the constitutional provisions which are present in our constitution, okay, regarding this human rights. So if you're talking about in our constitution, especially two parts, one part is fundamental right, which is in our part of Indian constitution, and another part is about directive principles of state policy. They talked about this human rights. So in our fundamental rights from Article 12 to Article 35, it mainly talks about right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion and cultural rights, okay, and also saving of certain laws and right to constitutional remedies. So these are some important provisions which mainly talks about human rights in our Indian constitution. And not only this, even in our directive principles of state policies, so from Article 36 to Article 51, it mainly talks about some provisions like right to free and compulsory education, equal justice, free legal aid, right to social security, right to work, free choice of employment, protection against unemployment, right to equal pay for equal work. So these are some important provisions which mainly talks about human rights in our directive principles of state policy also. And now let us try to see some statutory provisions. So in India, we have one important act, that is Protection of Human Rights Act of 1993, and recently it amended in 2019, and this act mainly provides for constitution of a National Human Rights Commission at national or union level. And next one is we are also having state human rights commissions at state level, and we are also having this human rights court. It will be ensuring better protection of human rights. So these are some important constitutional and as well as statutory provisions which are present in India to safeguard human rights. Okay. So now let us move on to next topic. Title says ITBP Index, First Women Officers on Combat Services. So this article may be talking about first women officers. There are 2 women officers from this ITBP. They are on combat service now. So this article will be important from women empowerment. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2, and you can expect a mains question from this. So recently Indian Army also allowed permanent commission PC for women, right? So already this PC which is mainly seen in Navy, Air Force, and now Army also came up. Now here ITBP, okay, Indo-Tibetan Border Police Forces also indexed first women officers to combat services. So this will be very important for women empowerment actually. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. Okay, so context says that Indo-Tibetan Border Police, that is ITBP, guards line of actual control, that is between India and China at LAC, okay, along with Indo-China Border Police. Okay, so here this ITBP commission its first 2 women officers in combat after completed their training. So after completion of training, these 2 women officers, they are commissioned in combat, okay, combat services. So now let us try to understand what is the meaning of this combat services. So this combat services mainly involve engaging and fighting the enemy either by individuals or by using some specified equipment. So in this, women can enter now in this ITBP. And next one is the essential capabilities mainly includes functions, activities, tasks, etc. So which are very much necessary to sustain all elements of operating forces that win in theatre at all the levels of war. Okay, so here combat services include some essential capabilities For example, functions, activities and as well as tasks, so which are very much necessary to sustain all the elements of operating forces in theatre at all the levels of war. Okay, so this is about the combat services. And now let us try to see some facts regarding this Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force. So from this area you can expect a prelims question, right? So if you're talking about this ITBP, it is a Central Armed Police Force. So it is mainly functioning under Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. So it presently deployed on border, which mainly guarding duties from Karakoram Pass in Ladakh to Jai Chapla in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so these are some important prelims facts that you need to remember. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says many hurdles for students. So this article mainly talking about what are the problems that are faced by Indian students who are studying overseas and also students who are seeking to go abroad. Okay, so this article can be written in answer like, so what are the issues, what are the different sections of societies, what are the problems faced by different sections of society due to this COVID-19. So in this way you can also add this dimension like what are the problems faced by Indian students who are studying overseas and also who want to go abroad. Okay, so in that way this article will be useful. So this article will be important from education point of view, which comes in the GS paper 2, and even this will be important from international relations, which comes under GS paper 2 itself. And this type of topics will be important from mains but not from prelims. So from prelims you cannot expect questions from this area. Okay, so what is the problem now? So as we know, Indian students are attracted towards other countries. For example, Indian students contribution, that is students who are going to foreign countries to have their master degrees, or we can say PGs from US, Canada, Australia, the number is increasing day by day. But due to this COVID-19, so there are many challenges these students are facing, and this article mainly focusing on those problems, and it already came up with some way forward like what can be done. Okay, so if you see data, it mainly says that students from China and India, they accounted about 47% of all active foreign students in US. So it is as per 2020 data. So this 2020 data which is released by the Student and Exchange Visitor Program, so which is part of US Immigration Customs Enforcement. So this US Immigration Customs Enforcement came up with this data. It mainly says that 47% of active foreign students, they are coming from China and India. So this is according to 2020 data. And if you see, Indian students also comprised second largest student community in UK and Australia, that is between 2019 and 20. And if you're talking about Canada, so why Canada came into picture? Because US came up with some immigration changes in immigration policy for students, okay, regarding visas. So because of this, Indian students, they are mainly attracted towards Canada. So Canada emerged as a sought after destination for Indian students after some stricter laws came up by USA. Okay, so this is data which is talking about Indian students who are present in other countries like UK, Australia, Canada and USA. So now let us try to address what are the problems that are faced by the students. So if you're talking about problems that are faced by Indian students, so students, they are forced to delay their plans in 2020 because of COVID-19 restricted lockdowns. And also even embassies, they are not issuing student visas. So because of these problems, now there is drop in number of students going to abroad to study in 2020. So according to data which is released by Ministry of External Affairs, says that in 2019 nearly 5.9 lakh students, they went overseas for their pursuing of higher education. And if you see in 2020, it is just 2.6 lakh students they went. And in first 2 months of this 2021, only 72,000 of students, they are going overseas. So why? Due to devastating second wave of coronavirus, which impacted career plans of students. So first one is, so due to coronavirus, it impacted career plans of students. And second one is, many countries, they have closed their borders and they restricted flights from India. Okay, so many countries, they closed their borders, and also we can see there is restricted flights from India, and this made very cumbersome to enter these countries. So because of closing of borders of these countries, it is very much difficult to go, okay, to enter the other countries. And next one is there is also problem with vaccination. So if you see, WHO approved only some vaccinations. From Indian side, it approved only Covishield, right? And Covaxin and Sputnik 5, they are not yet recognized by WHO till now. So students, international students who already take this Covaxin or Sputnik 5, so they will be not allowed to classes in USA, right? So because of this, now universities of USA, it is asking the students to get vaccinated before they are entering USA, okay? So because of this, here students are mainly going for revaccination, okay, with vaccines which are approved by WHO. And next one is due to disruption. Due to disruption, students who are present overseas, they are very much facing difficulties to find part-time jobs there. So these are some important problems that are faced by students. And now let us try to see what is the need, what can be done. So here, if you're talking about need, it is very much important for officials and as well as universities to work jointly to address the challenges which overseas Indian students are facing in abroad. And regarding this logistic issues also, they need to be addressed as soon as possible. And we need to come up with other policies pertaining to air travel and recognition of Covaxin also. So as soon as possible, this Covaxin need to be recognized by WHO. Then that will be very much helpful for students who want to go to other countries. So this is gist of this topic and it is very much clear now, right? So now let us move on to next topic. Title says a tightrope walk. So what is this article talking about? So recently RBI came up with latest policy announcement. So this policy announcement said that yes, we are continuing that repo rate only, that is 4% of repo rate, okay? So one important cause of concern here is inflation. So because of this article mainly focusing on, so RBI came up with now latest policy announcement. It said that we are going for accommodative, that is expansionist policy, and they are not focusing on inflation. So this article mainly focusing that whenever RBI which is coming up with accommodative policy and it is continuing that only, that means it is mainly ignoring inflation. Okay, so here this article mainly focusing on, so government need to take some steps mainly to control inflation. It should not delay steps. Okay, so this is the thing which is background. So this topic will be important regarding GS paper 3 under economy. And you can expect questions regarding monetary policy committee, like what are the quantitative measures and also what are the qualitative measures that can be taken by RBI. Okay, that will be your prelims questions. Okay, so please let me know in comment box, like, so what are the instruments, like what are the qualitative instruments and as well as quantitative instruments which comes under monetary policy of RBI. So if you don't know about that, let me know in comment box, and in tomorrow lecture we are going to discuss that. Okay, so now let us try to understand this article in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that RBI governor came up with a statement. He said that RBI's latest policy announcement mainly says that they are going to maintain benchmark interest rate. They are going to maintain repo rate of 4%. They are going to maintain repo rate of 4%. Okay. So whenever they are maintaining low repo rate means that will ensure liquidity in market, and it is called as accommodative policy. So accommodative policy is also called as expansionist policy. So in this expansionist policy, they will keep benchmark interest rates low, such that will lead to increase in money supply in market. That will revive demand, right? So already we studied about what is this repo rate and how it will lead to increase in money supply in market. So if you don't know about that, please let me know, and in tomorrow's lecture we are going to discuss that. Okay, but if you know means you have to comment. Okay, you have to give your comment in comment box for sure. And now let us try to see and let us try to focus on this article. Okay, so RBI says that they are going to ensure ample liquidity in market, and their stand here is accommodative policy stance. So it will helpful for recovery of economy. So this article mainly says that yes, RBI came up with this accommodative policy. So but inflation which is continues to around or more than 6%. So target of maintaining inflation is 4 plus or minus 2%. But here it is more than 6%. That means it is mainly high than the target that need to be maintained, right? So if you're talking about this RBI monetary policy, so it is mainly temporarily set aside in wake of COVID-19. So this RBI monetary policy, which mainly kept to focus on this inflation aside temporarily, and it is mainly focusing on to preserve financial stability in market and to support a durable economic revival. So if you see this monetary policy committee, which is mainly hoping that there will be a revival of rural demand, okay, because of agriculture output, and as well as now we are expecting good monsoons, and we can see some good monsoons this year. So because of this here, RBI says that we are going to expect good agriculture output, so that will recover, or that will bounce back rural demand, okay. So whenever there is rural demand is happening, automatically we can see urban consumption will also be increased. So we can see recovery in manufacturing as well as service sector also. And RBI also assuming that we are going to increase our vaccinations. So there might be increase in vaccination rollout. So this vaccination rollout will also helps to increase in demand or boost in demand. So if you see here, this is the assumption of RBI. But if you see current status, current situation, so according to current situation index of consumer confidence says that it still stays that consumer confidence, which is very much low, and demand is low in market. And even if you see the sowing estimates, so due to monsoon rainfall deficit, so deficit that led to widening of 4% of sowing, okay. And if you see estimates, about 23% of shortfall, and also composite purchasing managers index data says that there is persistent contraction business activity and also continuing job losses. So if there is continuing job loss, means here there will be no income security, there will be no livelihood. So how can we hope there will be demand, right? So we need to focus on these areas also. So RBI raised that its fiscal year inflation projection by 60 basis points to 5.7%. So in these conditions, what is the need? So need here is RBI need to take some immediate steps to control inflation in our market. So this is gist of this topic, and I hope it is very much clear now. Now let us see next topic. So before seeing next topic, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear UPSC 2022, we came up with one excellent, highly beneficial and also highly economical course, that is Current Affairs Package, along with mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful to clear this UPSC 2022? So one important thing you need to remember here is, before entering into examination hall, you need to know at least 1.5 years current affairs for sure. Okay, and this 1.5 years current affairs that you can cover if you join this course now, and this is the right time to join this course. And next one is, we are focusing on exclusive on mains answer writing practice. So how this mains answer writing practice will be useful? Because in this mains answer writing practice, we are exclusively focusing on keywords like critically analyze, discuss, evaluate, elaborate, etc. So you need to write answer according to those keywords, okay. And next one here is, we also conduct prelims practice test on every Sunday, and we provide you video explanation part. So in this way, this course which is designed as per demand of UPSC. So finally, I want to say one thing, please don't take this course as a choice. Try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. So details of this course which is given in description box, so please visit that once. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call to this number 8074765513. So please make note of this number, and you can call to this number to resolve doubts regarding this course. So now let's come back and let us see next topic. Title says, revisit the idea of aging out India's coal plants. So this article mainly talking about aging out or retirement of this India's coal plants. So this article is very important from our economy point of view and also even polity. And this type of questions you can see in your mains for sure. So now let us try to understand this, and I will try my level best to make you to understand this topic. So what is the background? First, let us see background. So what happened in our union budget address? Our finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that they are going to shutting down old coal power plants which are of more than 25 years of age. Okay. So actually most of the coal plants in India are very much old, okay, so which are more than 25 years of age. Our union finance minister said that they are going to shutting down of this old coal power plants. So why? Because they are major contributors for emissions. So first reason here is they are major contributors of emissions, and second one is they will aid for achievement of India's NDCs, national determined contributions, which are mainly accepted by India in Paris climate deal. Okay, so mainly they are major contributions of emissions, and also they will help for achievement of India's NDCs. So we are going to shutting down of those age-old coal power plants. So this statement which is given by our Union Finance Minister in Union Budget Address 2020 to 21. So what will be advantages? So this article is focusing on advantages and disadvantages. So advantages includes coal plants are older than 25 years. So whenever we are shutting down, it will be helpful for both environment and as well as economic point of view. So if you see one by one, so first one is availability of this underutilized newer coal based capacity. So if you are having large number of inefficient plants, okay, so that whenever we are going for shutting down of these inefficient plants, that will lead to improved efficacies and as well as that will reduce coal usage, and finally that will lead to cost savings. And next one is because of these inefficient plants are present, so whenever we are going for installing of pollution control equipment in that inefficient plants, it will be uneconomical, right? And next one is since these plants are older than 25 years and they will make up around 20% of total installed thermal capacity, they will play a significant role. Okay, so this article says that yes, we are having advantages, but if they are more than 25 year old, so if they are also functioning good, okay, then what is the need to close those? Right? So even if you're talking about contributions of these core power plants, so they make up around 20% of total installed thermal capacity. So because of this, they play a significant role in our power generation. Okay, so we need to decide whether we need to shut down these plants or not. That should be based on merit, okay, but not based on they are 25 years old. So if you are talking about criteria, so some plants like Rihan plant, Singrauli plant, which are located in state of UP, and Vindhyachal in state of MP, so they are over 30 years of old. But if you are seeing about generation cost, they are generating coal with a very low cost of around rupees 1.7 per 1 kilowatt hour. Okay, so it is very much lower than national average, but age it is more than 30 years of old. So why? What is the reason why there is a low cost generation? Because they are located very close to coal source and they will reduce coal transport cost also. So if you are talking about analysis regarding savings, so total savings in generation cost from shutting down of plants which are more than 25 years, so we can save just less than rupees 5,000 crore per year. But if you're talking about this contribution, it is just 2% of total power generation cost. Okay, so these savings which we are doing by shutting these coal power plants, which will be not even sufficient to even pay for fixed cost. Okay, and next one is if we are going to replace with new coal plants, so we are going to benefit only 1-2% range. So it is also not economically viable. And if you're talking about risk with retirement, whenever we are going for retiring or shutting down of these coal plants, obviously we can see there will be some negatives. So here, if you are shutting down of these old plants, we need to go with the replacement of new plants. So for establishment of new plants, we need some capital, right? And next one is we need to improve capacity of production, and we need to adopt new technologies. And in this COVID-19 restrictions, already states and as well as center, they are facing financial crunch. And if we are going for closing of this old power plants, then we can see there will be energy shortage in our country. And what is the need here? Need here is we need to go for proper decisions before taking any actions. So we need to take decision that should be counterproductive decision. Okay, so we need to increase first renewable source of energy, and then we need to go for shutting down of this power plants based on their risk benefit ratio, and that can be done in a phased manner but not at all in once. and we need to focus on electricity production, which is growing demand. So based on this growing demand for electricity, we need to go for shutting down of these plants, and we need to meet emission norms also. So these are some important way forward, or these are the things that we need to keep in mind before going into the shutting down of this age-old coal power plants. So this is my final conclusion. So this is just of this topic. I hope it is clear, right? So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll to this current affairs package. Thank you so much.